Hello, welcome back to my channel and to another TBR video. Yes, so we are approaching the end of October and I thought I would start making some plans. I mean, we're approaching the end of the year and I'm like, what are the things I want to do toward the end of the year? I keep reading from my, reading around Canada challenge. I'm trying to finish the Read Good challenge as well, and then finish a couple of other books that I've sort of had on my list to read for the year. So with all that in mind, that's sort of what I was thinking of when I made my November plans. But as you may know, November means nonfiction November, and always have that in mind, that I'm always like, oh yeah, when nonfiction November comes, I'll read this one, nonfiction books or whatever. But to be fair, this year I've had a really good split between nonfiction and fiction. Like, my ideal split is around 75% fiction, 25% nonfiction, and I'm already at that. Usually, like, nonfiction November just kind of really pushes nonfiction up, but I'm already quite pleased with what I'm doing. I think it has to do with the fact that I've been reading a lot of nonfiction for Reading Around Canada. There's quite a couple of them over there, but also the Women's Prize for Nonfiction, which started in 2024. So I read from the long list and I've tried to make it through the whole short list, which I did, except I DNF'd one, but whatever. So I feel like that's kind of got me going with nonfiction throughout the year, which I guess is the goal. So I feel for me it's really worked well. And yeah, I'm still planning on reading mostly nonfiction for the month. I can't mention nonfiction November without mentioning a book Olive, of course. She started this sort of booktube theme and movement back in 2015. So this year is the 10th year of nonfiction November as organized by Olive on booktube. She's mentioned, and I've only caught this really recently and I can't believe it, but she's mentioned that this is the last year that she's going to be sort of as involved as she has been, because it is quite a big project and endeavor every year to have like all the different boards and social media and organization. So sad to hear, but obviously I feel like now for a lot of people who follow these monthly themes, I feel like it just becomes part of like our readings. Yeah, I feel like the spirit will continue and maybe more people carry on, or maybe she continues doing the different themes. So I guess we'll see in 2025 what happens, but I would love to continue this. And yeah, I'm excited for this upcoming nonfiction November, but also I'm excited for the future as well. As always, there are 4 words, themes that you can interpret however you want, and these are literally just things like they can give you a feeling, or you can literally interpret it literally, and then you pick books that kind of fit with those. And I always find that really exciting to see how I can fit either books that I'm interested in into these themes, or if I can find different books that I've been interested in that actually fit this. And I'm like, oh yeah, great, this year I'm gonna read that. So the 4 words are code, path, shot, and join. And at first I was like, oh, good words, and then I was like, actually really struggling to interpret them and pick a book for each, but I have done it, of course. I'm here prepared for once. And yeah, I'm excited to share the 4 books that I've picked for that. But obviously it wouldn't be a TBR if it wasn't a little bit ambitious and probably unreachable. So I thought I would make a TBR with 5 books. I've been reading less, and also I've already passed my goal of how many books I wanted to read this year. And this year for me wasn't like I need to read above, it was like I want to read less than more. I did not accomplish that. I'm like 17 books above my goal. But it's good to have these different books that I may dive in and out of. So it's more of a pile of possibilities, as always. I just love that phrase. But anyway, I ended up having 10 books on my TBR for this month. It includes 4 books that are for the theme, so 1 for each theme. And then I have 3 more potential audiobooks that I would like to listen to. And then I have 3 more physical books from my shelves that I would like to maybe dive in and out of. I think my physical books, often I'll dive in, I might not finish it, but I just getting the vibes and getting into it a little bit. So we'll see. All right, let's dive right in. For the 4 themes, I picked 2 audios and 2 print books that I own. So actually, I think that means that I have exactly 5 print and 5 audio on my TBR this month. So it feels quite balanced. Obviously, audio usually ends up winning a bit more because it's, you know, easier to kind of get through if I'm traveling or doing some DIY, but I'm quite pleased with that. All right, the first word is code. And obviously I was like, damn, I just read this summer Codependent, which was a long list and shortlisted for the Women's Prize for nonfiction. And it was really good. So big recommendation for you if you're looking for something. But the book I actually decided to read is Let Me Know When You're Home, Stories of Female Friendship. This is a collection of essays, poetry, short stories, and it's from Dear Damsels. I own, I think, all of their books. They do these collections every once in a while, and I just always love them. And to me, Let Me Know When You're Home is like a code that women have with each other, you know? And that's why I thought about this. It's almost like an unwritten rule or code that you ask that out of your friends, you know, text me when you get home. And yeah, so that's how I've interpreted that. Usually these books, they're really short. 100? Yeah, less than 140 pages, and I usually read them in about a day. So yeah, I've had this book for a few years, I think. So I think it'd be really good. And you know, goes with the theme. Next is actually another book that I own. So it's called Hope Not Fear by Hassan Akkad. And this is for the theme of path. Because, well, I just find like when I interpreted that word was very much like your path through life, like your journey. And this book says, finding my way from refugee to filmmaker to NHS hospital cleaner. And I love a story of refugee and immigration, obviously nonfiction, as an immigrant myself and daughter of a refugee. And yeah, I've owned this book again for a few years. It's a hardback, which I'm not always a fan of because it's hard to travel with them, and I read a lot on the train, stuff like that. It's less than 300 pages and it's written quite large. Oh, I think I just broke this spine. So yeah, so this is what I want for path. I think path was the easiest one for me to interpret and find lots of books, because a lot of my books are about journeys or about discovering yourself, or you know, people's memoirs are often about their own path through life. So yes, but this is the one that I picked that I would read in November. For shot I found very difficult to interpret. Like I like taking your shot, or you know, vaccination, stuff like that, and I was like, oh, can't find anything that I was really interested in. But then I found an audiobook, I think in my library, of The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, and I feel like that goes with, it's like medical discovery, right? So I feel like that sort of goes with shot. This is maybe a bit of a stretch, but I think that works, and I'm really excited because I've heard only good things about it. I have had some comments about the fact that this is written not by someone sort of related to Henrietta Lacks, and yeah, it's a bit weird, but I heard it's super respectful and it's really, really good, and yeah, I've only heard good things about it. So I'm hoping it will hold up, and I'm very excited to get into this because for years, people have recommended this to me. And finally, the last word in theme of Nonfiction November 2024 is join. And I just thought that was a sort of beautiful kind of last hurrah for this nonfiction November, especially if it's potentially the last. But you know, for me, it's also like a call to join this challenge and this community. But anyway, how I interpreted it, to me, was very much like, yeah, joining an activity or community. So I decided to sort of join that with my Reading Around Canada challenge. So I picked one of the books I've been meaning to read for that, which is called Saqiyuq, and I've mentioned recently I'm not great at pronouncing this I think it's Inu, so I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. It's by Nancy Wachowich, and it is a nonfiction that is about basically the life of 3 Inuit women. And to me, it was very much like the joining of their stories. This is why I interpreted it and decided to make it fit in this theme. I'm very excited. This is about women who live in Nunavut, so I'm trying to read around Canada, so obviously that province I was really struggling with, and I'm really excited to read something and discover more of that culture. It's obviously not on Voices, so I've been struggling with that, but I've been really struggling with finding books from that region. But we'll see how it goes, basically. And I mentioned there was 3 more audiobooks that I'm wanting to read or listen to in November. The first is Paris by Paris Hilton. So I've seen a couple of like the bigger booktubers review this as a surprising celebrity memoir, and I'm kind of keen to find out more and read it and kind of get in on the hype, I guess. I almost put that one under Path because again I think it's sort of her journey growing up. But yeah, let me know if you read it. I'm really curious about it. Next, I thought I could potentially, because I found a copy again on my library of the audiobook, The Real Jane Austen by Paula Byrne. Here's another one that I've had for sort of Jane Austen July potential TBRs in the past. And I thought, well, it still fits nonfiction November. So if I have time, I might dive into that one, but it's kind of going to be at the bottom of the list. The next one is called Mother of Invention, How Good Ideas Get Ignored in a World Built for Men by Katrine Marçal. And I believe that she wrote another book that I have on my TBR. Yes, Who Cooked Adam Smith's Dinner? She's about economics and feminism. And I think I've mentioned it on so many of my nonfiction November TBRs, and I've still not read it. I didn't want to mention it again. I've mentioned it, but it's not on my TBR technically. So yeah, but I found the audio for Mother of Invention. It sounds super interesting. So again, it's not going to be high on my list, but it's going to be one of those like maybe I get to it, maybe I don't. Yes, so I'm quite excited. And then I have 3 physical books that I'm thinking of diving in and out of as well, but the physical books are maybe slower, so we'll see. The first one, and it's not going to be one that anyone knows anything about or has seen or potentially has access to, is very much from Quebec. It's called Stresse pas minou. Don't stress, little kitty. It's a collection of essays on anxiety. So my mom sent this to me for Christmas last year, and I was having some bad anxiety, and she was like, oh my god, you have to read it. So I was like, okay. And it's been on my bedside table ever since. I thought it's quite short and I might actually benefit a lot from reading it because I've been very overwhelmed recently. So yeah, so one of the books I'm thinking of. The next one is also a gift I got for Christmas last year from my brother. It's called Caliban, the Witch, Woman, the Body, and Primitive Accumulation by Silvia Federici, who is an Italian philosopher, I want to say. So my brother was very aware of how into feminism I am, stuff like that, and got recommendation from his philosophy professor about this and ordered it for me, and I thought it was really, really kind and lovely. And I started it when I received it. It's quite heavy philosophy book, you know, so I decided that I would like to at least dive into it. If I could get to at least half, I would be pleased, but I know that this is gonna be maybe of a long read. So maybe I need to do like increment, you know, like a little bit all the time. I've heard really good things about it from Willow Talks Books. So yeah, I think it was exactly the same week. Like I received this in a mail and then I saw the video from Willow and I was like, oh my god, it's a sign. I still haven't read it, but I will. Finally, and again, there's quite a lot of books on my list, but it's a book I've been meaning to get to for ages. I literally pre-ordered it. Bittersweet by Susain Cain. And this is also, I guess, a nod to Olive from my book Olive, because it's through her that I found out that Susain Cain had released a new book or was releasing it, and so I was able to pre-order the paperback. It's how to turn sorrow into creativity, beauty, and love. She obviously wrote Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. and that book changed my life. It was so good, and it's probably like in my top non-fiction, like I think I bought a copy when my parents bought a copy, like it's gone around because I'm always recommending it, and I'm very excited for this as well. I couldn't fit it into the themes and I was gutted by that, but I'm excited by this. I feel like I really need to sit down with this one though and take my time and enjoy it, which is why I keep being like pushing it, you know, but yes, I will get to it. So yeah, so these are my print books, and I'm hoping to get to 5 books and then 5 audio. I'm very excited for Nonfiction November. I am still reading Tomb of Sand and some other ones that I'm hopefully finishing the end of October, so I can spend my November on nonfiction. We'll see. So what are your plans for this upcoming Nonfiction November? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what books you're excited to read, or like what theme you were excited about, or did you struggle with one like me? Yeah, and let me know which of the books I mentioned, maybe you've read them. Let me know if you like them, if you recommend them, you know, especially the ones that was like a bit on the fence with. But yes, share your thoughts in the comments, leave a thumbs up if you can, and subscribe, and let's talk nonfiction soon. I will try to have a bit of a video discussion going on throughout the month, so we can see how the whole process and journey goes. As always, thank you so much for watching, and see you back. Bye.